Welcome to Misfit by Design, an interview series concept that captures rebel intel from women who are aging on their own terms. I'm Rhiannon, and this is my 50th birthday present to myself. And today, for the next few minutes, I have one of my closest friends ever. Caroline is here with me. Thank you, friend, for taking the time.
You know, I always love being with you, Rhiannon.
I I know, even if it's virtual, it's still so good. I love it.
It is.
Well, you are such a badass in so many ways, and our friendship, we've seen each other evolve from you being just a mover and shaker, nonprofit executive director for Make-A-Wish Southern Nevada, where our worlds collided, to motherhood and divorces and moves, and now here we find ourselves in some new positions in our life. And you specifically now are a leadership coach and an advisor to nonprofits. Tell me what you're pouring your heart into right now with all these moving parts that we have going on.
I think I'm pouring my heart into creating the life that I want to live. So I'm being very intentional about everything I do, from the people I hang out with and spend time with, the business that I'm creating, that I'm getting clearer on every day, just really how I'm embracing my 50s. I'm 4 years into my 50s.
Yeah.
And I think that just being so aware of everything I'm doing and being okay with just saying I don't want to do that. That's been hard for me. Saying no, or just it doesn't feel good. And so I want to show up every single day. And it's hard. It's not like I'm doing this perfectly, but if I can spend 80% of my time doing the things that I want to do and spending my time the way I want to spend it, I feel like I'm winning.
I love that. One question I've asked every single woman I've interviewed, how old are you? And you just gave us a glimpse. You're in your 54th year. And it's interesting because we've been taught not to ask a woman, at least I have, right? Not to ask a woman how old she is. And it's one of the first things I want to get out of the way because I don't think it's something we should be ashamed of. I think it's something that we should feel so proud to shout from the rooftops.
Yeah, I love sharing my age. I
Yeah.
love saying that I'm 54. And sometimes I forget. I'm like, am I 53? Oh no, wait, I'm 54. I love it. I have no problem saying that I'm in my 50s. I'm proud of who I am as a
Yeah.
54-year-old woman. And I don't have the mindset of a 54-year-old woman. I have the mindset of a woman who just wants to be comfortable in her skin
Yeah.
and create a life that I just love living.
Yeah.
And it's a number, yes, but it's also just it's cool to be able to share that, I'm approaching my 50s very differently than what I grew up seeing 50 be like.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Very different, right? Like even the Golden Girls. Did you know they were all 50? You were in their
Yeah.
50s.
And I, I don't identify with 50 like that.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. I do not either. I do not either. I mean, I feel like I'm the best I've ever been in this decade.
Yeah.
There's a few things breaking down on the body, but other than that, I feel like I'm just, I'm much more confident, much more appreciative. I'm in this gratitude phase of my life, and
Yeah.
that feels very different because even when things are hard, I turn to what's working, what's good, and that
Yeah.
keeps me going.
Yeah. It's
I'm
awesome.
54 and very proud of that.
I love that. And I love being able to witness you in the midlife era just a couple steps ahead of me because you're doing it in a way that I find very inspiring. And I
Well, thank you.
appreciate your curiosity still,
I
despite
don't
being
think that's ever
54.
gonna go away.
I love that about you.
Yeah.
Well, I have a few questions. So I'm going to jump into it just out of respect for your time. So you're a rule breaker. You've broken many. I've been a witness to you busting through things people don't think women should do or say. And I love that. Can you give me one rule that you know you've broken as a midlife woman or that you break on the reg?
So, I think it's a couple of rules. Like if I look at my physical and spiritual and mental well-being,
Yeah.
I think I break rules there. Like I'm still in the gym. I'm still working out. I'm probably working out better than I ever have because I don't believe in your body can't change, that you can't
Yeah.
still do the work and see the results of it. So, I think that's
Ma-
a
And ma'am, may I just say, your body's gotten better
yeah.
in the last 10 years. You're
Yeah.
smoking hot. Not that
Yeah.
you weren't beautiful before, but you've done a really good job flipping it.
Yeah, thank you. I'm working hard. I mean,
Yeah.
but it's been fun. And it's because I've shifted my mindset towards it that I haven't given up on my body.
Right.
And then spiritually, I'm still exploring that. I went through a part of my life where I grew up Catholic and I didn't identify with that in my 20s and in my 30s. And so I just was kind of in nowhere land with what are my beliefs. And so I think in my late 40s, now well into my 50s, I've just embraced creating what my spiritual practice looks like. And it may have some elements of religion in there, but it may have elements of just a belief system, a mindset. And I think that helps me just in everything I do in life. And so those are kind of like the two areas where I really feel like I'm breaking some of the rules of it's never too late
Yeah.
to create and be the person you want to be.
Right.
And then starting a business at 50,
There's that.
and then there's that. So,
Okay, very cool. Well, I know you and I have talked, but we feel relatively solid. I'm moving into midlife and you're well into midlife, but there are so many of our peers that aren't feeling as confident. They're not trusting the process. They're not trusting themselves. Things are shaky. Things are changing. If you could give a piece of advice to someone, one of our peers, who's just not feeling super solid, what would you share with her?
I know we talked about the number, and I think if people can let go of the number and get that out of their head, they
Yeah.
really can embrace what it means to become, older. And I think it's defining your freedom. So, what does freedom mean to you? And if
Mhm.
you can define that, and I wish I did this in my 30s, quite frankly, but if
Yeah.
you can define what freedom means to you, you'll embrace the of getting older because freedom for me is the ability to take my wisdom and share it with other people so that I can, be a mentor and be someone that can, guide. But also my freedoms are, creating my own schedule and having a slow morning
Yeah.
and saying no to things that I don't want to do because it doesn't feel good to me. And you're
Yeah.
still going to say yes to some things, right? It's not like we're eliminating that completely. But what does freedom mean?
Yeah.
Having financial freedom doesn't necessarily mean that you're striving to be a gazillionaire, but financial freedom is you've got a savings account or you've got whatever that means.
Yeah.
Define your freedom and then work to achieve it. And that's
Yeah.
the way the number and the fear of getting older. And I think people are afraid of getting older because that means that, you're getting closer to death. But
Yeah.
the
I yeah, I really, really love that. That's so unique. And like as I hear you inviting people into that inquiry, I think like for me, I'm thinking, what does freedom mean to me? And it's being unshackled from the opinion of others.
Mm,
I've just spent a lot of my life being super concerned about what other people want from me. And I'm
yeah,
finally moving into what do I want from me first? And it's
yeah,
not that I don't want to show up for others, but And I do happily, and that also brings me a lot of joy. But starting with where am I at? And then how do I proceed
Yeah.
versus from the outside in. So that's such a beautiful, beautiful invitation. I love that so much.
Yeah.
And I
You
bet
know
it
where
will
I got that from?
where?
Gavin gave me a book and it's called, God, I'm gonna forget the name of it. What is your journey, mom? Or
Oh,
tell me about your journey. I'll send it
yeah,
to you. But it goes all the way back to childhood. So you questions about your childhood, your family tree. But then there's some very thought-provoking questions in there.
wow.
And one of them was, what advice would you give your 16-year-old self?
Yeah,
And I had to think about that. Like, what would I tell my and what came to me was I would tell my 16-year-old self to define freedom. Define it today so you can live your life working towards that, not towards things and titles and all the stuff that doesn't really matter in the end, although they are your experiences and they will help you grow.
yeah.
But define your freedom. That's
Imagine doing that at 16.
yeah.
Wow. And Gavin, of course, Gavin gave you that book.
Of
Little
course they did.
sucker.
Yeah.
A little
Yeah.
shout out to that son of yours. Okay, I have a couple more questions. I want to make sure that we touch. You've gained tons of wisdom over the course of 54 years. If you could pull out like a couple pieces of wisdom that you're like so thankful for, so proud of, that you now embody. Can you share those little nuggets of wisdom that you're happy that you have now?
Yeah. And the first one that comes to mind is relationships. And I learned early on that relationships are the most important thing you can develop and nurture and
Yeah.
care for, and they will evolve over time. My favorite poem is Season, Reason, or Lifetime,
Yeah.
because people will come into your life for a reason. They will come into your life for a season, or they will come into your life for a lifetime.
Yeah.
And really, it takes a lot of effort to nurture relationships, whether they're business or family or personal. I feel like that's my greatest gift in life is that
Yeah.
there are so many people that are a phone call away, a
Yeah.
Zoom away, whatever it is, that I know that I am surrounded with love and care and safety in whatever way that shows up. But
Yeah.
nurture your relationships. Pay attention. That connection is so important and I feel like we're losing some of that.
Yeah.
We're losing it to social media, we're losing it to working at home, we're losing it in a lot of ways,
Right.
and I really wanna see people kind of reconnect with connecting with humans
Yeah.
because it's magic. It really is like it's like part of my soul. I don't even know what my life would be like if I didn't learn early on how important relationships were.
Yeah. And you're so good at nurturing them. You're such a good friend. Yeah. I'm so thankful to be a part of your tribe. And I learn from you and how you are in your relationships. And I love that about you.
Mhm, thank you. It's
Yeah.
always a work in progress. I don't think I'm perfect at it, but I do think that I I try, and that's the important part. And I
Right.
keep those that are really important to me and who energize me, I keep them closest. You know, it's the 5 people you spend the most time with or the ones that influence you the most. I also take note of when I'm with somebody and I feel depleted, that I
Yeah.
have to make sure that I'm not giving that much of my energy. And sometimes you have to for
Right.
different reasons, but be very aware. And that would be the other piece of advice would be know your energy, know how you feel because
Hmm.
it's telling you everything. Your
Yeah.
body is literally giving you all kinds of information. And I
Yeah.
used to kind of put it aside and not pay attention so much. Like, why do I feel so shitty after I leave that meeting or that
Yeah.
person, whatever it is? Well, because your body's like, I don't like that. It's not good energy for me.
I noticed that my ability to override my body started to dwindle at about 45. Like my
You know
body,
why?
huh?
You know why?
Why?
'cause your estrogen is
Yeah, your
well, it's
hormone.
true, like, I heard that, like, your estrogen levels dip,
Yeah,
you have less tolerance to nurture and be, like, the everything to everyone, which is
right.
why a lot of women that are going through menopause are like, "I can't take it anymore," and just kind of revolting on all the things they've done. So, yeah, I think it's a real thing that we're a lot more tolerant, a lot more giving, we're willing to empty our cup
Yeah,
a lot quicker, and then as you get older, you're like, "Yeah, not so
yeah.
much." It
So
takes
we so we are biologically correct.
yes. Yeah. Well, biologically, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I have one last question, and this one's near and dear to my heart. You and I spent the majority or pretty much all of our adult lives, our young adult lives in Vegas. It's
Oh.
very superficial, it's very externally driven. How do you look? What are you wearing? What type of car are you driving? What is your title? And that's what gets you status in that society part, part of our society. And I believe that it kind of is rampant everywhere, but it's very concentrated in Vegas. And one piece of that in particular is this idea of what's beautiful. And I'm curious from your perspective now, as a midlife woman, how has your definition of beauty shifted?
I think I've always thought that beauty is within, like, how you show up as a person. And I
Yeah.
can't remember, there is a quote, is it Audrey Hepburn or somebody that said it? Your looks are gonna dwindle. They
Yeah.
are. Like, we're gonna get wrinkly. We're gonna look right at that how you treat people and how you make them feel is the greatest beauty you can portray, I think.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so I'm grateful that I have some external beauty
Yeah.
and I don't feel the need to manipulate it or preserve it to a point where I'm, doing things to do that. But I really care about when somebody says, "Wow, you have really great energy," or "I
Yeah.
remember how you made me feel when I was going through it," or whatever it might be.
Right.
To me is like the biggest compliment anybody can give me. And so
Yeah.
that kind of guides me through how I show up in the world and what beauty really means because it's all about your energy.
Yeah. It's interesting because so far I've done probably 20 of these little interviews, and every single woman that I have spoken to has mentioned that beauty's from the inside. And the other answers have all kind of been around the box of ways to perceive beauty. But everybody in midlife seems to get that we can emanate beauty regardless of like what our face looks like. And that's really reassuring because when I look in the mirror and I'm like, "Oh boy, it's hitting."
I also would take that to the next level because when you say within, yes, it's also like literally within how you take care of your organs,
Oh, yeah,
right?
girl.
How you are you drinking alcohol to the degree where you're not motivated to go into the gym and do the things? Consuming are you
Yeah.
consuming food and information that is not helping the within, right? So I
Yeah.
stopped watching the news during COVID because it's just toxic. I eat well
Yeah.
85% of the time, right? Not 100% because that's not who I am, but
Yeah.
I eat well. I drink significantly less than what I did in my 20s and in
Right.
my 30s, right? So that's the other within that I think is
Totally.
super important. How you treat your body is
Yeah.
beautiful.
Right. Yeah, and it will show because
Mhm.
what we do in that regard does have an impact in our ability to vibrate high.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it shows like how much you love yourself.
Yeah.
I love myself so much that I want to preserve my body as much as I can and as much as my DNA will allow me to do it. And all of that is not just the physical exercise, but it's the mental work and the emotional work that you do and what you choose to consume not
Yeah.
just food, but just consume in general, it all plays a role. And
Yeah.
that's my full-time job now.
Yeah. I'm really glad that you said that because I believe it. I walk that walk with you. And I am
I know
so
you do because I
yeah,
learn a lot from you. You've taught
yeah.
me a lot when it comes to taking care of your body and you're always searching for new ways to do things and try new things that may or may not work for your body, but you're definitely my go-to friend that will tell me what's trending, what do we need to try, what's the right way to do it, what's natural, right? You're
Yeah.
definitely a good friend.
I love that. Thank you. Yeah. It's fun. And like you know, it's just like forever being curious. It's like I
Yeah.
love being a student of life and I just hope and will put out into the universe that that will never change because it's one of my favorite things about being human is just learning new shit.
Agreed.
Great.
Agreed. I would be so bored if we didn't.
Oh, my goodness. What would we even talk about?
I mean, that's another issue of like how much I can stay focused on one topic. That's a whole different
Yeah.
podcast.
Squirrel. Okay. Well, that wraps up my inquiry for today.
I would like to end this by saying happy birthday to you.
Thank you, friend.
You are approaching your 50s like you approach life with so much zest, and so much love, not only for yourself, but for the people that you have surrounding you that you are blessed to be around. I love that you're doing this, not only for you, but for all of us that get to be involved. And
Yeah.
I know that your 50s and your 60s and your 70s are gonna just be your best decades.
I and I
I'm
can't wait to share them with you
I know,
because
and I'm gonna be right by your side.
yeah, 2 little old wrinkly ladies in the rocking chair.
Rocking chair, we're gonna be like, "Where are we going to? What
Ah.
country are we hitting right now?"
Yeah, I'm here for it. Well, I love you so much. I honor you. I'm so thankful to witness you in your way of being in the world. It's super beautiful. I can't wait for this to make its way onto social media because your words are so wise and
Yeah,
will surely benefit those who are like on our heels. And so if a few people can be positively influenced, then this whole project will be worth it for me for sure. Yeah, you are such a glitch in the aging matrix that the universe needs more of. So hopefully this inspires that.
I love you so much.
I love you too,
Happy
man.
birthday.
Thank you. I love you. I love you. I love you massively. And I can't wait to see you in a few weeks in Vegas. And yeah, more adventures.
And Vegas, our place of beauty.
Yeah, through the eye of the beholder. I love you, friend.
Love you too. Bye-bye.